Why do I have this on anyway?
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries. As we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We have a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. But before we get into our intriguing content today, please join me in welcoming our featured guest. First timer on Ron Siegel Radio, Danny Murphy. Danny and Associates, your real estate advocates. Welcome.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Glad to have you with us. And let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are operators standing by.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
Well, I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan or a plan to save you money. I personally work with you, even if you don't have any needs today. Save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And yes, we are celebrating today. We celebrate every day on Ron Siegel Radio. Let's see, what do we have to celebrate today? National Retro Day. Well, there's a lot of people that are trying to send me back somewhere, but that's a whole different story. Polar Bear Day. It's felt like I think I felt like a polar bear the last few days around Southern California. It's been a little bit chilly. And you know something? It's probably one of those days that we were very, very happy. Although today is the day, and why would they do this to us on a Monday, have National Kahlua Day? I mean, can't we wait and do that on the weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday? National Kahlua Day. Are you a Kahlua drinker?
I'll drink it sometimes.
Yeah, Kahlua. I used to drink it in college more than I do now. Kahlua and coffee, Kahlua and cream. Of course, in college, it was like anything in alcohol, so it didn't really matter what was in there, but that's a whole bit different story. Well, I've never tried, though. Today's also National Strawberry Day. Now, strawberries on a little piece of shortcake. Where's the whipped cream? We forgot whipped cream. Wonder if you could put Kahlua over the strawberries.
Good combo.
That sounds like a good combo, right?
I think so.
It's certainly worth trying. Although, yeah, you know something, we might have to give that a shot. Hey, let's take a look and see what the markets are doing today. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is up 61 points. S&P 500 is up 16. The Nasdaq, wow, up 89 points. Oil down 35 cents a barrel. Do we want to look at the bond market? Well, of course we do, because we look at all these numbers for you. 3.91 is the yield on the 10-year Treasury, down a little bit. We'll talk more about that in the Mortgage Minute. So did you see the latest battle on Twitter going? And this, well, I guess it wasn't a battle. It was just a suggestion where Elon Musk is encouraging Warren Buffett to buy Tesla stock. Apparently, Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett's company, on paper lost a lot of money this last quarter. And Buffett says that all these people that are talking about it probably have no clue what's going on. Now, for Buffett to say that, I would say we should listen, because he's done a pretty good job of investing. So what his commentary was is, number one, he's not selling anything, so he really doesn't care whether the stock goes up or down. However, when you're an investor like Buffett, he makes more money when the stock goes down. Why? Because he's buying. That's the whole idea right there. I will take you back, being that today is Retro Day. Some of you may not go back this far, but when I was a stockbroker, this would be right around the turn of the century. Yes, I am that old. I was licensed Series 766 insurance, all with Merrill Lynch. or at least that's where I hung my licenses. And right at that time, we were just getting ready to go into the dot-com bubble. Well, what happened during the dot-com bubble? Well, right before that, Warren Buffett said, you know something? I don't understand all these companies. I don't understand buying companies that don't make money. I stay away from companies that I don't understand. And people were laughing about Warren Buffett and losing money and the market's outpacing him. All of a sudden, you get the dot-com bubble, and he just, Berkshire Hathaway, raced past everybody. Why? Because he invested in good companies and he bought them when their stock was low. While everybody else was putting their money into Broadcom and Qualcomm and every other com that went from 400 a share to 40 a share, whatever. I don't know the exact numbers. But he was out there buying Coca-Cola and Wells Fargo and Gillette and all these companies that he understood. And we're going to be around longer than he. Well, I don't know. The guy's an old guy, so I don't know if anything's going to be around as long as him. His partner, I think, is Warren Buffett's 99 years old. Oh, no, Charlie Munger, 99 years old.
I think he's probably like 109 now.
Yeah, exactly. Right? So these guys, they buy these things. So don't ever laugh at somebody that's done as well as these guys have. Just throw that out there. Maybe you'll want to learn from them. I'm just going to throw that could be the issue. Speaking of learning, so here's an interesting one. This came out Friday's news. You probably have not seen this. Many haven't, but I'm going to go over it with you. New home sales. So just an interesting aside, because we keep hearing people talk about real estate is going to crash. Real estate is going to go down. Real estate values are going to drop. 2008 is coming again. It's going to be another retro. Well, let's talk about new home sales. And can you possibly learn something from this? For sale total inventory. This came out Friday. 439,000 homes total inventory, down 5% month over month. Annual sales pace, 670,000. That's up 7.2% month over month. Remember, we need 1.9 million right now for household formations. We're short by just a little bit. We're on a monthly sales pace, 56,000. The media comes out and says, well, there's a 7.9 month supply of new homes for sale. Well, that's a headline that's not quite accurate. That represents about, a lot of them are not even started yet. They haven't been built. How many are built? How many are ready to be sold out of that 7.9 month supply? 73,000. That's a 1.3 month supply. Median home price, $428,000. That's your down payment in Newport Beach. Just throw that out there for you. But here's the issue. New home builders, you know what they're doing? 60% of the new home builders, whoops, sorry about that. I guess we could have run a drum roll.
Why not?
60% of new home builders, you know what they report that they're doing right now? Something that I've been telling you right along. They're doing some sort of a financial incentive. Now, if you want to understand financial incentives, rsrbuydown.com, rsrbuydown.com. There are 5 methods for you to reduce your monthly payment. 3 of them help your buying power. 2 of them will do nothing for your buying power, but do help with your budget. rsrbuydown.com. Go out there, grab the report. I walk you through it. I give you examples of it. Don't have time to go through all of that right here, right now. But 60% of new home builders right now are offering the things that I've been talking about for months, decades. Right? We started talking about this back in 2005. rsrbuydown.com, rsrbuydown.com. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. When we come back, well, the media is telling you that home prices are going to go down. We're going to talk to a real estate expert, see what he sees on the street. One major benefit of investing in a home, 5 money questions to ask before you get married. All that and more. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, it's 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, shame on you. But the replay is available. Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the numero 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you can retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you could have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less, all without having to spend more each month than you spend right now? Yes, that's correct. All without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis. rsrnodebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free analysis takes only 2 minutes. rsrnodebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to rsrnodebt.com. rsrnodebt.com.
Are you paying rent because you cannot afford to live in your dream home? Are you paying rent because you don't believe you have the down payment funds to purchase your own home? At Siegel Lending Team at ronismylender.com has up to $25,000 to help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. Contact the Siegel Lending Team today at ronismylender.com. Again, ronismylender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037. ronismylender.com.
Homeowners over the age of 62 are taking back financial control after retirement with reverse mortgages, and the Siegel Lending Team is here to help you use it to your advantage. Call Ron Siegel with Geneva Financial to receive your free information booklet with no obligation. The booklet answers all your questions, and the best part is you still own your home. Call Ron Siegel at 1-800-306-1990 or visit ronsiegelradio.com.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. ronismylender.com. Again, ronismylender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial when you're ready for that next home loan. Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. How about up to $1 million, potentially $1 million purchase with no money down? And that's even for our non-veterans. Think about that one. Geneva's got the program, but every day at this time, OBMMI, they provide the most comprehensive, accurate, timely, and interactive analysis of pricing ever conducted in the mortgage industry, calculated from actual locked rates with consumers across 35% of all mortgage transactions nationwide. This is Friday's numbers. I don't know if you had to pay any points to get them, but this is where the average was for that 35% conforming loans, locked at 6.696, up a bit. Jumbo loans locked at 6.743, up a bit. FHA locked at 6.543, up a bit. USDA loans for those in the rural areas, generally no down payment, 6.578. That was up. And it's always nice to see when you have the best loan on the market for those that earned it. The 30-year VA loan, 6.283. That was down. Love it when I see those VA loans at a lower rate and dropping. Veterans, we thank you. I couldn't do what I do every morning if it wasn't for the veterans. There's a lot of people that don't like what I have to say. Hey, but let's take a look and see what the markets are doing. The S&P 500 now up 19.08. 10-year treasuries are down. That's the yield down 3 basis points, 3.924. The 30-year bond, the mortgage-backed security, that's up 14 basis points. Rates and the bond price always move in the opposite direction. It's just mathematics, not a personal opinion. So that bond is up, means interest rates are down ever so slightly today. And as I share with you all the time, that information is always available on that super secret website. Yes, that would be google.com. You have to know where to look for it. But what's driving the market right now? Well, pending home sales measures, signed contracts in existing homes rose 8.1% in January, much stronger than the 1% gain expected, and follows a 1.1 rise in December. I guess sales are going a little better than they expected. Sales are now down 24% from last year. Down 24% from last. Whoops, that's the wrong one again. Yeah, down 24% from last year, which is an improvement from down 33% in the prior report. There was considerable pickup in activity in January, which is not known to be strong housing month, as rates moved to the low sixes. Now, there's some millennials out there saying they moved down to 6 when they're going to go down to 3. I hope they don't ever go down to 3 because that means our economy is not doing well. So they will go down. Now, I'm going to tell you, I've told you before, May 10th is the day that we're going to start seeing the rates on a more progressive way down. We know the rates moved back up in February following the jobs report, so we should prepare for the next release of the report to be weaker. Yeah, because we know that half the report on the last one was fake. I've told you about that already, and I've also documented why that report was all fake. Reaction from buyers as rates moved lower was clear, and remember, we believe rates will improve following February jobs report, which will be released on March 10th. They waited a little bit longer this time because it will likely be weaker and not have any of the adjustments we saw in January. Additionally, on March 14th, the next CPI report has a good chance to be bond friendly. That's the comparative numbers from last year falling off at a much higher. Remember, I've told you that. I've shown you these charts. When the numbers of their high numbers are replaced by lower numbers, even though the inflation is still there, the numbers are better. We have to share that with the president because no one's told him that yet. Durable good orders in January went down 4.5%, which was worse than expectations. When removing transportation, however, they were up 0.7%. The headline figures are volatile because of the timing of large aircraft orders and the huge dollars involved. Core durable goods in January rose 0.8%, which was above the estimate of no change, though December was revised down by 0.2%. Core shipments, which get plugged into GDP, grew by 1.1%, which was well above the forecasted numbers. That's the Mortgage Minute, brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs, the products. Give me a call at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. There are operators standing by. The team is there to help you. So let's chat. I tell you all these numbers, and these are all national in nature. And you know what national numbers are good for when it comes to real estate? Guys that are on radio or on TV. Because they don't mean a whole heck of a lot when you get to the street. Now, Danny Murphy is with us, Danny and Associates. He knows the numbers on the street.
I'm a street guy.
You're a street man.
I'm a street guy.
So are you seeing properties moving on the street, or is there activity? Last week I was talking to some agents, and their comments to me were the open houses that used to have 3 or 4 or 5 parties are now having 20, 30, 40 parties. How's that? How are you seeing it?
Yeah, since the beginning of the year, we've seen a lot of activity. Open houses have been really busy. A lot of people coming through, a lot of interest. I think it's driven by the rates had been down for the last 8 or 9 weeks. And so I think the consumers are, the demand's there. The supply isn't there, right? We're at record low supply here locally and probably even across the country.
Sure.
So, people are out when the rates are down. They're out wanting to make purchases and lock in those rates. And we're seeing a lot of activity. I think it's probably going to slow a little bit if the rates keep creeping up. But we've had really good activity since the begining of the year.
So what area are you in mostly, Danny?
So we're Orange County, coastal
okay.
Orange County, but also
Well, that's
really
a tough place to be.
It's a good place
Coastal
to be.
Orange County.
We like it. They're not building any more land.
Exactly. That's right. No more beachfront properties.
No more beachfront properties. So it is a good place to be, and people like to be there. And so, especially when you look at golf tournaments in February and the sun was out some of the time.
Some of the time, yeah.
Yep.
We had some good, something, the weather worked out pretty well for the golf tournaments on the West Coast swing.
It did. The West Coast swing, I think, was good. If they waited a week or two later, it'd be raining like it was today.
Yeah, it wouldn't. They wouldn't have been able to get this last weekend in for sure.
Nope.
So just because we can, and because I do like to bring this down to a local area, Newport Beach, California, I've got the numbers as of February 27th. I think that's fairly current. So Newport Beach has a whopping 36 houses, single-family residences for sale in 92660.
Sounds about right.
Not a lot, not a lot there. And 33% of the properties have taken a price decrease. So that means 12. You got to bring that down, right? I mean, it's just not a lot of inventory.
Well, and I think a lot of times, the sellers almost don't get the memo, right? They're thinking it's a year and a half ago when everything was selling and, multiple offers and 10% over list price. And so unless you're really having a good conversation with the sellers, there are a lot of properties that are somewhat overpriced. And so they're taking price reductions. But we're still seeing good values. We're still seeing good demand.
So you're saying taking price reductions. Do you see, and I talk about this all the time, a price reduction doesn't mean the property value is going down.
Right.
It just means that
it's priced too high.
Yeah, the buyers didn't see the same value that a seller did.
Yeah, and I think that I think the sellers go, hey, my neighbor sold last year for X, and I'm gonna price my place for X plus a couple percent, and we're just
like
not
20% like it was a couple years ago.
Right, we're not seeing that kind of horsepower out there any longer. People are, the buyers are being much more judicious about looking. They're doing their due diligence. They're taking time. So a year and a half ago, they would look at the house and felt like they had to make an offer along with their firstborn.
Sure.
Now they're taking in a couple weeks. Days on market are extended out, and it's more of a normal market.
So I like that term, normal market, as opposed to what it was, because it really wasn't normal in 21, 22.
No, it wasn't.
So do you think prices are going to go down, or what do you think? What are you forecasting?
So I believe that we peaked last April. You could see that in the numbers in terms of valuations, and I think in the markets that we work, we've seen probably a 5 to 7% decrease in prices, which is super healthy, right? You look at the stock market and what that's done in the last year, and it's been pretty brutal, right? So to have home values come off the peak a little bit was only natural and was likely to happen. I feel like we've stabilized. I think the next 12 months will probably be kind of bouncing around the values we're at now. I don't see a lot of appreciation. I don't see an impetus for a lot of appreciation in the next 6 to 12 months. But I do think that you look ahead to like 2024, inflation gets under control, Fed starts reeling back rates. I think that we could be off to the races a little bit again. And so I think this is a time right now where it's great for buyers to be out there. They can take a little more time to find properties. They can negotiate terms a little bit better. And so if I were a buyer, I'm telling buyers right now, you're buying the home, not the loan, right?
Okay.
And so I think that it's like, negotiate the terms, get a good value, get a home that you want. And then in probably the next 2 years, I bet most people that are getting loans now are going to be refinancing those loans.
Now, so we know that the new home builders are doing a lot of concessions for the buyer because they want to keep the value up. So they'll look at it and they say, okay, well, we can keep the value up by giving it somewhere else.
Yeah.
Are you seeing that on the resale level?
Absolutely. I think buyers are, sometimes it's hard to work with buyers, right? In the last 2 years, it's been tougher because not a lot of inventory, really competitive. Today, though, it's great working with buyers because, you can get out there and really add value for them as an agent, but also there's a lot of negotiating taking place on terms and price. We're able to kind of shift it, like I said, back to more of a normal market where, you got a seller that really wants to find a good buyer, and the buyers are being real selective in what they pick and what they pay for it.
Buyers doing a little more homework right now?
I feel like they've always been pretty informed the last, 10 years, right? With a
They
lot
had to
of
be so
information.
spontaneous the last couple of years, right?
They have been, yeah.
You walked into a property, and if it was somewhat acceptable, you felt like you had to put an offer in because there's going to be 25 other people putting offers in, and you're probably going to have to put in 20 offers to get something.
Well, I read something just recently. It said something like 47% of buyers that have purchased homes in the last 2 years feel like they may have made the wrong purchase, right? The house wasn't optimal for them, and they did it because they felt like they had to make the offer and get it. And if they got their offer accepted, they better follow through with it and buy the house, right? And so now I do think that buyers are being a lot more selective and taking their time. And if it's not the right house, even though there's not a lot of inventory, I think they feel comfortable moving on to another place. And so, you better market the house right. You better price it right. It better look good, make the house look good. It's kind of like washing the car before you try and sell it. Because the buyers are being a lot more selective right now.
Yeah, they really have the opportunity. They have a little bit of time that, I looked at, again, go back to Newport Beach, and you're looking at the median days on market, or average days on market is 114. I don't know that that's going to be typical. 114 sounds to me, just from a gut, sounds a little bit long, but average days on the market, of course, Anaheim Hills, I'm looking at 95 is the average days on the market as of today's report. Temecula, you guys are out there in Temecula, we've had some folks on there. Your average days are 101. So it's
more of a balanced market, right? I think anything under 120 days is considered a balanced market. So, we were down, below 30 days from start to finish, and that was considered an extremely hot seller's market.
Right.
Today, 70 to 90 days is normal, and that's kind of a balanced market where I think you better, like I said, sellers better price it right. You better market it right. And then I think the buyers are going to take some time. They're going to have some negotiation room. They're doing their due diligence, and and there's going to be some terms that have to be agreed to by both parties. And that's I think that's a good place to be for all of us. I think that it's a healthier market. I think it allows us to add value once again in a real material manner as an agent, right? So you have to have a good listing agent involved, and your buyer's agent needs to be good and at their craft as well.
Wow, and there's people that really know what they're doing.
Imagine that.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to continue our conversation with Danny Murphy when we come back. Setting realistic expectations. I wonder if that's part of the process as well.
Uh-oh.
One major benefit of investing in a home, 5 money questions asked before you get married, and more. Reach me anytime. Off air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694552.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Are you a renter and tired of making monthly payments? Paying off someone else's mortgage? Hey, it's Ron Siegel here to help you stop renting and start owning your dream home with amazing low interest rates. And you could potentially qualify for a $500,000 home for less than $5,000 out of pocket. So stop renting. Start owning with Ron Siegel. Learn more at ronsiegelradio.com and start owning today. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you can retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you could have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less, all without having to spend more each month than you spend right now? Yes, that's correct. all without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis. rsrnodebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free analysis takes only 2 minutes. rsrnodebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to rsrnodebt.com. rsrnodebt.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio. Or anytime, 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Visit rsrhomescout.com. rsrhomescout.com. It's a great app. It is free for you because we like you. There's no advertising on there. There's no obligation on there. It gives you 4 different values on your property. If you want to set it up to send you a monthly email, you can do that. It's free for that as well. But it gives you 4 values. It gives you Zillow, which we know is wrong. It's going to give you 3 others. Quantarium, I think, is the name of the one that I was told that the government-sponsored entities use when they're looking at property inspection waivers. So that's on there as well, and a couple others. But it gives you an idea of what your value of your property is. That's a historic number. If you're thinking about selling, you need to speak with a realtor for that. It also gives you about 97% of all of America, what's available listed for sale. Not just locally, 97% of America. And like I said, free for you. Just go there and register and make use of it. One major benefit of investing in a home, one of the many reasons to buy a home, is that it's a major way to build wealth and gain financial stability, according to Freddie Mac. Quote, building equity through your monthly principal payments and appreciation is a critical part of home ownership that can help you create financial stability, unquote. With spring approaching, now's a great time to consider if buying a home makes sense for you. The best way to figure that out is to talk with a trusted real estate professional. The largest part of most homeowners' net worth is their equity. You may be surprised to learn just how much of a homeowner's net worth actually comes from owning their home. The National Association of Realtors, NAR, shares, quote, homeownership is the largest source of wealth among families, with the median value of a primary residence worth about 10 times the median value of financial assets held by families. Housing wealth, home equity or net worth, gains are built up through price appreciation and by paying off the mortgage, unquote. In other words, home equity does more to build the average household's wealth than anything else. And according to data from First American, this holds true across different income levels. And if you are watching us on RonSiegelRadio.tv, any of our socials, or the ABC News and Talk AM 1490 video feed, Josh just put up its chart showing housing piece of net worth being crucial. And it shows all kinds of different income levels on the chart. And I will share with you, just think about math. I was on a call just recently with a financial advisor, and he said, oh, well, the S&P 500 and the stock market, New York Stock Exchange, outperforms real estate. And I said, yeah, well, that's probably a technical truth, but it's not the whole truth. It's not the full feature, because here's the issue. Average down payment is 14% in this country last year. 14%. When you put money into your 401k and the stock market goes up over time, call it 8%. Let's even say 10% because I'm a simple guy. So let's just say it goes up 8% and you have $100,000. I know you're not buying a $100,000 house in California, but let's just say 100,000 because you can multiply that times 10 or whatever you want. The numbers work at all price points. And you put $100,000 into the stock market or you buy a $100,000 piece of real estate. 100,000 in the stock market goes up 10%, $10,000. Nice and easy. I have to use my math a little bit if I'm doing it for real estate. But let's say you want to buy a $100,000 house. We know that the down payment is $14,000 on average. I'm just going to use $10,000 because it's easier for me to do. Right? So that means that if real estate goes up, and I know it does, you do too. Real estate goes up in California faster than in most areas. I know that. You're talking about 3 or 4% nationwide. Orange County, California, because that's where I am. Over the last 63 years, last time I looked, I'll see if it's any different today. But the last time I looked, real estate went up 5.37%. Oh, it's at 5.35 is the 63-year average. Can we say that might happen again? Okay, so $100,000 property goes up. Let's just call it 5%, $5,000. We put down $10,000. That's a 50% return. Oh yeah, the stock market went up 10. Let's see which is better. Would you rather a 50% return on your money or a 10% return on your money? So yeah, they were right technically. That's not the whole story though.
Power of leverage.
Power of leverage, right? Real estate is still better for you. Bottom line, one of the biggest benefits of owning a home, regardless of your income level, is that it provides financial stability and an avenue to build wealth. If you're thinking about buying, selling, or borrowing on real estate, can I count on you to call me? And if you have any friends, family, or coworkers looking to, introduce them to me. 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990. Again, that's the Real-Time Real Estate segment brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Visit rsrhomescout.com, rsrhomescout.com. Continue our conversation this morning. Danny Murphy, Danny and Associates. I see your emails, danny@thesocallife.com. Is that a website also?
It is.
Awesome. So I'm pretty quick at that, aren't I?
You're good. Connecting all the dots.
Every once in a while, I do get some people that come in and they've got the domain name to get their emails, but they never set up a website for it. And I'm going, why? Why don't you? But
www.thesocallife.com.
www.thesocallife.com. Cool. So that's where you can find Danny. You can meet Danny right there. But, before the break, Danny, I was talking, you and I were chatting about that we're into a more normalized market, 21, 22. Those really, 20 and 21 weren't normal. 22 wasn't, in just the opposite direction, right? We've never seen our interest rates double in 1 year. So that was kind of different. Tell me a little bit, how do you educate the people you're working with to have some realistic expectations?
Yeah, I think coming off of, with COVID and the way the market was for a couple of years there, really for 2.5 years, people think that interest rates are always going to be sub 3%. Sellers have expectations that homes are going to sell like they did 2 years ago. So I think it's really important for us to help people see the big picture, right? I think that real estate it's a long-term investment. We tell people it's not timing the market. It's time in the market, right? And so I've never sat down.
I heard that in the brokerage world as well.
Well, you've probably heard it once or twice, right? And we always say I've got a great chart that goes back to 1960, kind of like what you're talking about, where year 10, and it shows Orange County home values, and year 10 has always been higher than year 1, no matter how you slice and dice that 10-year increment, even with the Great Recession at the peak before it imploded. And so it's a great investment. So we try to educate our clients that long-term investing in real estate, also because of the power of leverage, like you said, you don't buy $1 million house and put $1 million down. You buy $1 million house and maybe put $100,000 or $200,000 down. You get that even at 5 or 6% interest, but you're getting appreciation on the entire $1 million asset, right? So even though you're only putting $100,000 down, your appreciation is on the $1 million asset. So we really try to educate folks to understand that it's a long-term thing. And if, sometimes people are trying to flip properties, and that's a different investment opportunity. It's a different investment analysis.
Nothing
right?
wrong with it. It's just different.
It's different. So for the typical buyer or seller, it's really about buying something that's going to be a home for them. It's a place for them to raise children and families. It's a place to grow old, hopefully together, and have the beauty and safety of a home and a home ownership. And so we really try to educate them on the long-term benefits of being in the local real estate market.
Do you see this as are we going back to, we hear a lot about recession, and I do a show every month. It's called The Millennial and the Old Man. And I'm obviously not the millennial. But the millennials, they only know one recession. They've only lived through one, which was 2020. They don't count. That was just a whole different world.
Technical adjustment.
Yeah, but they remember mom and dad struggling in 2008. Are we going back to that again, do you think?
I definitely don't. I think and we say that because there's real data that doesn't support us going back to that, right? We're the money that's going out there. The Great Recession was a real estate fueled recession where we were giving out money to anybody and everybody. We shouldn't have been
fog
doing
and mirror,
it.
you're qualified.
Fog and mirror, you're getting the money, right? And so, the whole system imploded and almost took down, all the other financial areas around that. And so now, lending standards, as are really difficult. You have to really qualify for the loan. You have to
be able to repay it.
You have to
what a surprise.
Show that you have the assets and the income and all that, and not too much debt and everything. And so there's that part of it. Then you've got the part where we don't have a glut of inventory. We've got a good jobs market. So I think that across, economically, we had 11 million jobs open, this last report. And so people are employed. At least locally here, you've got people that have good jobs. So I think the financial dynamics are very different now, where people, are qualifying for the loans. They're buying homes that they can afford. The distress rates across Orange County, even across the country, are extremely low. So I have people saying, hey, are the REOs coming back and short sales? No, because, the average owner in Orange County has 40-50% equity in their home. Right. So no one's walking away from 50% equity in their house.
Yeah. You're not going to walk away from, you have a median home price of $1 million and change. You're not going to walk away. So what is it? $1,032,000
or $500,000 of equity.
I got $400,000. I think I'll just let it go.
I don't want it.
Yeah.
I'm going to walk away. So
I'll take it.
The dynamics around the market, the fundamentals are completely different than what they were during the Great Recession. So no, I don't think we're going back to that. I think that we're going through an adjustment period where we've got to get inflation under control. Rates are the way that the Fed does that. That's their tool in their tool chest. I think that as you look ahead, once we get past sort of this inflation issue that we have, I think we're back to a continued healthy market.
Good stuff. And just to clarify, because Danny's completely right that the Fed does use these interest rates, but a lot of times when we get closer to the Fed accomplishing their mission, the home loan rates actually will start going the opposite of what the Federal Reserve is doing. So as the Fed starts getting to where they're right now, they're trying to get inflation under control. As we see inflation coming under control, we should start seeing home loan rates drop as well. But when we come back, I want to talk to Danny Murphy about, you mentioned that there's not a glut of homes. Why? We're going to talk to him about that, and I might not even get to our Your Credit Matters segment again. But that happens every once in a while. You can reach me anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender. Are you tired of paying rent? Are you tired of paying someone else's mortgage? Do you know qualified folks can potentially purchase a $500,000 home for less than $5,000 out of pocket? Ron Siegel can help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. If you're tired of paying someone else's mortgage, reach out to Ron today at RonIsMyLender.com. That's RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey friends, do you dream of mortgage-free home ownership? Are you aware that even if you own your home free and clear, it could still be costing you thousands per year? The Siegel Lending Team can help you generate tax-free income, accumulate family wealth, and maintain ownership of your home. By simply emailing your most recent mortgage statement, you'll receive a no-obligation real estate plan. Learn more by calling 1-800-306-1990 or email me your recent mortgage statement to PEAR@ronsiegelradio.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender. Are you a renter and tired of making monthly payments? Paying off someone else's mortgage? Hey, it's Ron Siegel here to help you stop renting and start owning your dream home with amazing low interest rates. And you could potentially qualify for a $500,000 home for less than $5,000 out of pocket. So stop renting. Start owning with Ron Siegel. Learn more at ronsiegelradio.com and start owning today. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you can retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you could have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less, all without having to spend more each month than you spend right now? Yes, that's correct. All without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis. rsrnodebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free analysis takes only 2 minutes. rsrnodebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to rsrnodebt.com. rsrnodebt.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. This segment being brought to you by creditsanitizer.com. You have a credit report. It is wrong. We know they're wrong because I've been looking at credit reports for many decades, and I've never seen one that's completely accurate. Never. And like I said, the highest credit report, highest FICO score, true FICO, not the FACO scores, not the Vantage scores, not the Credit Karma, Credit Sesame, all those things. Those are FACOs. True FICO score, the highest I've ever seen is 834. 850 is perfect. And I was able to identify quite a few errors on that report. Ironically enough, it was for a repeat client of mine. Danny, you'll get a kick out of this one. So the man's in his early 90s at the time, and his secretary calls me and says, Mr. S is really upset that his score isn't higher. He's never missed a payment. He's in his mid-90s. And I said, I get it, but he's applying for a 30-year mortgage. I don't know that he's going to pay it back. Just right?
Probably not.
But again, this segment brought to you by creditsanitizer.com. You have a credit report, it's wrong. Go to Credit Sanitizer, get the $1 credit report, and we'll do a free credit audit for you. Continue our conversation. Danny Murphy is with us. We're chatting about real estate. And before the break, Danny made a comment that I want him to dig into a little bit earlier. There's not a glut in inventory. Well, the question becomes, we hear interest rates are increasing and the media says that real estate isn't selling. Why is there no glut?
Well, I think the biggest reason is you've got so many people that have interest rates on their mortgages now, 3%. I think the numbers are like 40% of people have interest rates below 3% on a mortgage rate, 30-year mortgage rate. And, 70% of people have rates that are below 4%, right? So it's kind of like the golden handcuffs is what, they're getting called.
Sure.
And so I think unless you have to move because of death or divorce, or, you've been, you have to move and relocation, things like that, bigger family, smaller family, people just aren't putting their homes on the market, and so we're not seeing the typical, flows of, listings and people buying and selling, because if they don't have to leave and take on a mortgage rate, like you said, we've never seen mortgage rates double in a 12-month period of time like we did last year. And so if you don't have to go and get a 6.5% mortgage rate right now, people are staying put.
So do you think it's going to ever loosen up?
Absolutely. I think that, I think we'll have our seasonal loosening up, which is starting now. And I think we'll see, the typical inventory starts coming online and does so until August, right? July, August, summer months. But I think that, there's always a certain level, and I don't know what exactly that number is, but there's always a certain amount of people that have to buy and sell because of death and divorce. And
one of your colleagues from First Team came
6
on here the
Ds.
other day and educated me on the 6 Ds.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, the 6 Ds are the reasons why there'll always be a certain level of buying and selling in homes that come on the market, because people have death and divorce, and the families.
We like the other side of it, though. You go death and divorce, and so
the other ones are better too.
The diamonds, diapers, diplomas, death, divorce, and default.
There's a 6th one, the default, and obviously default's not a big one for us right now.
Right.
But yeah, the diamonds and diapers, all those things are causing a certain level of. There's always going to be a certain level of inventory, but I think that I think it really starts to loosen up as we look ahead into 24. I think when the rates start to, as the Fed starts to message that they've done their work in terms of getting inflation under control, and you know this as well, and they start to message that they don't have to continue raising rates and even start to lower rates, and they may not come until early 24 or late 23. I think as soon as that starts happening, the mortgage rates will start to respond to that. We'll see them start to pull back. And then I think there'll be a lot of pent up supply and demand, right? I think there'll be a lot of would-be sellers that want to move on with their lives, and they haven't had to move in 23, but now they want to buy that smaller house or the bigger house, or move to a different state and, retire into a different home. And so I think that's when we really start to see things accelerate. But I think we got to kind of trudge through 23 to get there first.
So here's the question is, do you think that those people are going to sell, or are they going to pull equity out through other investment vehicles? I mean, one of our investors just came out with something that's new to me, and I've been doing this for 100 years, a second mortgage, reverse second mortgage. So you have that 3% first or 2.5% first, but I want to get some of that equity out. If I'm old enough, I can get a reverse mortgage. Yes, I'm old enough. You can take a reverse second, not have a payment on it, but I can go and buy another piece of property, but at least I can tap into that equity. Do you think people will try and find ways of tapping into equity because they don't want to give up that low cost first?
Personally, I think that's those options have always kind of been out there. There's always been investment vehicles where people can pull in to tap into equity. I think on a big scale, I find that a lot of people don't know about those different opportunities investment wise. And so unless the agent community or the lending community is doing a really big push and really good at articulating those different options, I think you'll always have a certain number of takers that want to tap into their equity, don't sell the property, maybe keep it for financial reasons, but also want to move on and buy something else. I don't see that being a big portion of the market. And I could be totally wrong. That's just my personal opinion, because I think that a lot of the typical consumer that's buying and selling homes, they start to think that that's risky, or they think that that's
good point.
They think that that's sort of the stuff that got us in trouble during the Great Recession, even though those are really good investment vehicles. I think you have to have a really savvy buyer seller to want to take advantage of something like that. And I think that the delivery of that message has to be really it has to be really strong and compelling, and the person delivering it has to really know what they're talking about.
So based on what you're saying, then 24 might be another one of those really challenging times, because the sellers were getting a pent up seller demand. And obviously those sellers, for the most part, want to have a roof over their head. Some of them might want to tent
somewhere,
right? Yeah. So they've got to buy something. So that's going to cause demand. Plus, we've got that 1.9 million household formations is causing demand. So that could really be a big push. If you get a lot of demand and not a lot of supply, that means prices are going to skyrocket again.
That's why I think this year, again, if you're a buyer out there looking to do something, I think 2023 is the time to do it. I know the rates are higher than they were a year and a half ago, and people don't like that. But if you accept the notion that you're buying the home and not the loan, and that rates will probably come back down to somewhere in the 4s in the next year or two, and that you'll refinance, right now is the time to be buying, because you're not competing against 15 different offers. There is some inventory, not a lot, but I think people can have some negotiating terms as a buyer. And then I believe that, because I do think that in 24, we'll see more volume, we'll see more inventory, we'll see more transactions take place across our industry in real estate. But I think that you're going to see the demand return in a way that does start to put maybe materially upward pressure on prices. I don't think we're seeing that upward pressure on prices right now, and I don't think we're going to see that for the next 6 to 9 months. Is just my personal prediction, just based on rates and the noise that's out there in the media. But I think once you kind of get past this period that we're in now, I think you're going to see a lot of potential price appreciation pressure.
So let's take a look at some numbers, because I am a numbers guy,
Love it.
right? So Danny's a realtor. Most realtors are great in, not most, the successful realtors are great in sales, and they're great in educating the consumer on the property. Most of them don't focus on numbers, right?
I've got an MBA in finance, so I love the numbers too.
Right.
But yeah, I
is
think
that
most is a fair statement. Yeah.
Okay, so what Danny was just saying, let's say you've got $1 million property and you got a $750,000 loan. If you've got a 6.5% interest rate, you're paying about $4,700 principal and interest. If you've got a 5% interest rate, you're paying $4,026, roughly $700 difference.
Yeah.
Over a 12-month period, that's going to cost you $8,400. It's not a huge, I mean, $8,400 is a lot of money, but in the
grand
scheme of things, it's not a massive, because you can change, so you're spending $8,400 to get into the market right now.
Yeah, I agree.
Right?
Yeah.
And get the property you want. And that's going to go up 5% this year in Orange County. Home price expectation survey says 2.4, but whatever.
Yeah.
Right? So let's just say, I mean, because it's easy, 5%. That's $37,500. You're going to spend $8,400 extra to get it. How many times do you want to spend $8,400 to get $37,500?
Every time.
Right?
Yeah.
As often as I can do it.
As often as I can do it.
Right? Until I run out of checks.
Yep.
And I'll buy more.
Yep.
Right? It's pretty simple. So what Danny's saying makes, from a numbers standpoint. Now, I know you need a house. You need some place to live. And I don't get involved in that part of it because I don't understand it. I got a real estate license. I'm not qualified to use it. Right? That's why you go to the professionals. But just from the numbers standpoint, makes total sense.
Yeah, I think that I think that especially too, people need a place to live, like you said, and I think that people want to own a home. And the other side of this equation too, that's important that we haven't talked about, is rents. Rents are through the roof. I mean, we don't do a lot of rental work with people, but we do from time to time, and I'm always shocked, including last week when we put someone in a rental, and how much someone's paying for, a 4-bedroom home, in this case in Huntington Beach. And, rents are exactly those same numbers that you're paying on a mortgage. So you got to come up with the down payment. That can be a stretch, but, lenders, they have ways to help with programs, and you can do lower down payment loans. And, so there's ways to get into the properties with the loan. And because the mortgage is like a rent. It's like a rent payment.
Take a look at this. I just pulled this up while you're talking about that. Median rent for Newport Beach, I just had that one on my screen, $6,825.
Right?
Median rent.
And you don't get any tax benefit from that. You don't get any appreciation on the market, which we know.
Your landlord says thank you.
They thank you every time they get that check.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, if you want more information on anything we're chatting about, if you want to meet Danny Murphy, give me a call at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And as always, I ask, set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items that affect your house or the roof over your head, or your bank account. Easy for me to say. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or meet any of our guests, call me anytime. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.